Hi, good afternoon. My name is Matt. I work for a company called Easy Vidya. We're based in Chennai, but all across India. I'm very pleased to be speaking here on behalf of Nokia and the Pearson Foundation. Can you bring up the PowerPoint for me, please? There's both, but we'll start with the PowerPoint, please. I want to talk about our project called Bridge It India, which is part of Pearson Foundation and Nokia's global sustainability initiative. It's been started in 2005 in the Philippines. We rolled out in India in 2011. We wanted to test to see if it worked. I think you can tell from the quote that it has. How much do we know about teaching and learning in the typical Indian classroom? It's not great. And we wanted to come up with a way that we could improve that in a scalable and sustainable manner. If you go to the next slide, please. We want to bridge the gap between those kids who are doing really well, who are attending IIT, and those kids typically in a rural environment who are struggling and have limited infrastructure and limited ability to access quality education. But we want to make sure that kids learn well without being physically present in every classroom. So the mobile is a fantastic platform that allows us to do that. Next slide, please. So what did we do? Bridge It India is a teacher-directed intervention. We gave teachers in the project a Nokia C7, or this year Nokia 701 phone, preloaded with an application called Nokia Education Delivery, NED. NED actually run on a variety of phones, including a 5,000 rupee Asha. You can scale it up or scale it down. But we specifically looked at C7 touchscreen, pretty high-end phones, because we wanted to see how well we can evaluate it with the Indian teacher who had a phone but was not a very skilled user. We targeted 5th and 6th grade for English and science content, which we're broadcasting out over the 3G, or in most cases 2G networks, to schools across India. We picked 5th and 6th grade because that's a transition where many kids go from local language instruction to English medium, and where you first start to see dropouts. How do we improve the quality of education? How do we engage students so they learn better? How do we keep kids in school? We said we've got a phone, we've got content, and then we've got training and an activity guide, which is suggested ways that teachers can use this in class. Then we follow that up with on-site observations and remote support. Next slide, please. So in 2011, we wanted to prove, does it work? It's a 3-year project. Year 1 is the pilot. Year 2 is the scale-up. Year 3 is sustainable. We have to transition this so that it is fully self-funded in 3 years. So we kept the first year small so we could do a thorough evaluation. 12 rural government schools across Andhra Pradesh, 18 schools in Chennai Corporation, 4 private CBSE schools, 53 teachers. You can read the numbers. We had a catalog of videos that were mapped to the state and CBSE syllabus so that teachers could quickly identify what was an appropriate activity for the kids without leaving the comfort of their textbook. And they used it like anything. 8,000 videos played, 70 gigabytes of data downloaded, and they also reached out to us for support a lot. So that was very encouraging. Next slide, please. We went to their classes. We observed all the teachers. At the beginning of the year, they said, oh, yes, we're very student-friendly. We know how to do good teaching. Our children are learning well. So we gave them all a pre-test. We watched them teach. Despite the happy talk, most of the lessons were very dry, reading from the textbook, kids answering in unison, not much thinking happening in the classroom. We went back to each school at least 5 times, observed lessons, and what we saw is that objective indicators of lesson quality, like are you checking in with all students? Are the kids spending more time in the classroom talking as opposed to the teacher? Are kids reflecting on their thinking? Those qualitative and quantitative indicators increased by 30% in our NED classrooms. And we saw that compared with controls, we got 10% more marks out of these kids. That's like 1 extra year of school in the space of a 1-year project. And our government partners responded to that by saying, hey, this is wonderful. We want to add more funding to this. We want to scale it up. So we're tripling in size this year from 30 schools to 100. We hope to reach 1,000 by year 3. And what was unique about this is that the mobile is an unthreatening platform. If you could see in those pictures, go back 1 slide, please. These schools had computer labs. Every single school we were deployed in had some PC resources, and they were not being used. Teachers were able to grasp the cell phone directly. It's a simple interface. I plug a TV out cable into it, I connect it to a television or a projector, and then I can download and share the content that is broadcast by EasyVideo server over the 3G network. Next slide. And they also came up with innovative models. It's got a battery. I can put kids in small groups when I have power cuts and still use it. I can connect it to projectors and use the diagrams in very low resource classes. Next slide. Let's switch over to the video real quick. I'll just show you a taste of what happens.
Okay? In the way of asking questions, in the way of asking, I'm making requests. Okay?
Every day, the monkey gets the crocodile's mango. The two became good friends. But Mrs. Crocodile wasn't happy with just mangoes. She wanted the monkey's heart.
What is this secret one? Heart or heart? What do you mean the heart? Not heart. Okay? Comment carefully. Why did you say? If you are not happy with
monkey's heart.
And so you can see that kids are way more engaged than they were in teaching before, and that the teachers find it pretty easy to use. We are not happy. We are completely unsatisfied with leaving it at this level. We still see unison answers. We still see the teacher asking very factual questions. And we've revamped our content catalog for this year. We've doubled the number of videos. Pearson Foundation has kindly granted them to us under a non-commercial license. We've incorporated material from Creative Commons and other sources. And we're rolling out with help from our government partners. They're providing us with their education officers, their training budget to fund bringing in their teachers from all across the state to attend centralized training, and they're backing us. You want a project to succeed, you get the Joint Director of Education to visit the school and ask the teacher, have you been using it? And we were able to do that because we have a very solid evaluation data set. That's the Bridget India project in a nutshell. I hope I conveyed the essence of it. We have a couple seconds for questions. Thank you so much. So we selected the C7 phone from Nokia. It'll run on a variety of different phones. It's a Java open source application. You can put it on an Asha phone for about 5,000 rupees or up to like an N85, which will be a very, very high-end smartphone. Yes. They discontinued a model called Nokia Express Music, which is about $4,000 that had the TV out in it. Otherwise, we would have used that. Okay, Pranshu from Nokia is going to kill me, but these cables that we provided are 95 rupees purchased in a bazaar in Hyderabad. The Nokia cable is 145. Yeah. Yeah, so the teachers got the phone and cable together. Good questions. Pearson Foundation gave us content for English, science, and math, and they had really good stuff for science and math. And we went to our government partners and said, hey, science and math, and primary grades, because that's where Pearson Foundation has the most stuff. And our government partners said English, because these kids are coming from Telugu medium, Tamil medium. Our teachers are not confident in English. Give us English content. So we got about 50 videos that we could use from Pearson. EasyVideo as a curriculum provider, we supplemented that with 100 of our own videos, content that we had created ourselves. We also have links to people like Azam Premji Foundation. We downloaded some Khan Academy videos and used those because it's a non-commercial project. And even some public domain stuff that we revoiced over. Now, NED is an open application. It's a server you put up in the cloud. You point your phone towards that server, and then you can host whatever content you want on there. EasyVideo is managing one server on behalf of all these schools. We could put other people's stuff on there, or other people could set up the server themselves. The Nokia Developer Wiki, projects.nokia.com, I think. Maybe from Nokia can.
Matt, couple of questions. What is the teacher training intervention, how frequent and so on? And second, what is the path to sustainability? You mentioned that the objective is to get sustainable in 3 years.
Yeah. So in order to keep costs down and sustainability up, we have just a series of centralized workshops. In year one, it was all conducted by Easy Vidya, 2-day workshop in Hyderabad for batches of teachers in Andhra, and a similar workshop in Chennai for Chennai Corporation. Once a year, and then we follow it up with a remote support hotline, phone and SMS, because you have this one-to-one terminal that's so great, and the teachers have a doubt, they just call us. For year 3, we're looking to go train the trainer, where we upskill the educational officers of our government partners, and they go out to the schools. The governments are visiting each of their schools at least 3 times a year. We're already getting them to volunteer to go more often and support our project. We just need to make sure that they've got the right level of quality when they're interacting with teachers.
But he asked you also about the sustainability. How
Yeah.
do you...
So we started the project with a minimum commitment from the government. We said that you have to have some skin in the game. They provided all the televisions, the projectors, all the travel budget, all the training resources. And that was about it for year 1, 10% of project funding. For year 2, we said you need to increase that. Chennai Corporation has purchased 30 LCD projectors on our behalf. They have arranged for the training venues, and they've arranged for education officers to visit the schools on our behalf. So small pilot, our evaluation, Easy Vidya staff did the site work, validating, baselining, etc. Year 2, we've split that 50-50. Year 3, that should all be the government's responsibility, and with the idea that they're also going to be purchasing the handsets. Now, our private school partners are already paying for the handsets. So we transitioned to about 30% of the budget being funded by the partners as opposed to the rest CSR.
Appreciate, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate.
Thanks, everyone.